गुड मॉर्निंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉर्ट में आप सबका स्वागत है. Today we're going to talk about India's unstoppable rise. But before that, sorry I got delayed by about half an hour because there was a power outage. And if before you think the power outages are common in Chennai, they're not normally common. But I'm staying next to a place where a major metro junction is coming up. In fact, the metro junction is just about a minute away from my house walk at the corner of my street. So next time you want to come anywhere, Chennai, just let me know. I'll guide you. It's as simple as that. But that's 3 years away because they've just started to dig and all that. So occasionally there is power outage. I have to live with it. And the second thing which I want to share with you, and this is this. What you hear this? This is called the Sengol. And the Sengol yesterday was gifted to me by Shreya ji of P Gurus. We had a couple of nice recordings yesterday in a studio, and that will be out later, either tonight or tomorrow. But I just thought I'll show you the Sengol. So you see in my background the Sengol, the Indian flag, the Ashoka pillar, and of course the Field Marshal, our Field Marshal. Not the fake one, the man who won Bangladesh for us, the man who created Bangladesh. That's my backdrop. That's India for you. Okay? And those of you who don't know what Sengol is, well, read about it. It's in our parliament. And this Sengol was put in a new parliament by a prime minister when it was inaugurated. Right. Now let's get back to our topic of the day. India's unstoppable rise. Okay, look at my cartoon. USA and China are just looking up. They have no choice. And I'm going to prove it why. And we're going to prove it to ourselves why. And of course, look at this idiot here. Who's this? Right? He can only look up and keep yelling and ranting, and he can't touch us. Right? That's what I thought I'll put across. Why? Because there's no more talk. Without USA, your GDP will go down. And you go to China and this and that and all that. India can't be stopped. That's my conviction. I've been saying this for a long time. A lot of my material is a repetition, but you need that kind of repetition to understand what India is. And India can't be stopped not because of Prime Minister Modi, not because of some great leader we had or didn't have. It's because of people like you and I, the common people, the common man of India who has worked hard for India, who has made India what it is. And it's that common man in India who's our strength. And that common man can never be let down. But let's see what this common man has done. We'll talk of it. First and foremost, let's see what this man has done, the uncommon man. He's trying to create a new world of disorder where he's broken international institutions like the WHO, IMF, NATO, and riddled the world with tariffs. Right? You whether him. He's probably the most disruptive politician or the political leader in recent times internationally. Probably one after the most disruptive after that breed of the last century called Hitler, Mao, Stalin. Right? And who had their own worldview and their own view of how to bring their countries up. And he's not finished, he's just started. Okay. The rules-based order defined by international institutions is broken. And there's nothing to replace it. And this man is putting up hardly any institutions even for his own country. Whether he'll do well for his country or not is to be seen, but he's definitely not doing well for the world. That I don't think we have doubts. Even if he's doing well for the world, it doesn't matter. He's not doing well for India. And I doubt if he can do any more for India. There are ongoing conflicts all over the world. We're living in a world where there's so many conflicts. If you go to any conflict track, all these marks on this map are all conflicts. And we are worried mainly about the Ukraine conflict, the West Asian conflict. It's still on, it's not gone anywhere. Iran is not gone. Israel, Gaza is on fire. Israel, Yemen is on fire. Okay. South China Sea, every day something is happening. And we have our own problems next door: Pakistan, China, Myanmar, Bangladesh. And it is in this chaos that we have to grow. Global growth is divergent and completely uncertain. The tariff war is raging. It's not going anywhere, right? And it is in this context you have to understand what India is all about. This is the fastest growing economies in the world today in 2025. India, China, Saudi, yeah. But Chinese growth is fake. They say 4%, but I don't think. And the Chinese growth could be as less as -2 as per certain estimates. I'm not talking about my estimates, international estimates. Max 4% as per their own estimates. It's cratering. People are talking of deflation. But then people say, look, India can grow at 6 to 7%. This 6.7%, it might go down to 6%. It can grow at 6%, 7%. But the Chinese economy is so big, even if it grows at 2%, or the US economy is so huge, even if it grows at 2%, it's much more than what India can grow. I agree. But in the law of physics, that's mass. And physics rules. You can't wish physics away. And that's what I want to tell you. India has the momentum. And momentum is mass into velocity. And there's something called kinetic energy. It is mass into velocity, half mv squared. India has the velocity. People don't understand it because this is complete the way armies function. Armies believe in momentum, armies believe in kinetic energy. You have to think like a military man to understand what's happening in India. In this in the world, you have the momentum, you have the kinetic energy. And that is more important to me than having a mass. It's like a obese man. China is like an obese man with short legs. And USA, as I put it in Putin's words, when he's, or someone else who said, look, Trump is looking a tired man. Yeah, that was Bill Maher. Looking tired. Not India. India is going strong. The force is within us. I've used this, the force is with us. Star Wars. You have to think Star Wars. And when you say force, I have to link it with physics. What is force? Mass into acceleration. What is acceleration? Rate of growth. What is mass? 1.4 billion people. The force is with us. If people understand this, the rest is simple. The force is with us. Why is India's rise unstoppable? Germany, Japan, and China last century were broken, completely broken. Germany and Japan at the end of Second World War broken economies, but they were aided by USA. Germany by the Marshall Plan, and Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, all three are rich economies today. They were aided by USA. Well, people don't recognize it, but I look at it as a MacArthur plan. They had a peace dividend. Germany from 1944 and Japan from 1944. So with Korea, from 50s, 56. And Taiwan, ever since. They've had the peace dividend of over 75 years. No wars. Complete support of the superpower at that time, the richest nation on earth at that time. They had to grow. China was chosen in 1971-72 to be aided. After 79, the last war with Vietnam, they have not had a war. They eschewed war and they grew. 79 to now, 50 years, 55, right? 56. They've had a peace dividend. Look at India. Have we had a peace dividend at all? Throughout our history, we've been an opposed economy. No one wanted us to grow. Even now, people don't want us to grow. And these barriers to growth are external and internal. Internal barriers have been injected. Some self-made because of the way we are. But that's to be expected in a great democracy like ours. We have had wars. 48, 62, 65, 71, a proxy war spanning 3-4 decades. In fact, right from Naga insurgency, Kashmir, Punjab, Naxalism, the Red Corridor, the Radical Corridor, the 0.5. Someone asked me, so what is this 0.5 threat? That's the 0.5 threat. Insurgencies, Northeast, Punjab, Kashmir. Then the Kargil War, Op Sindoor, in between Balakot. We've always been having conflicts. Doklam, Eastern Ladakh. We've been through multiple sanctions. People don't even know. You've gone through sanctions after the 74 peaceful nuclear explosion. Then you were slapped with NPT. You were put under the MTCR. You were under the nuclear sanctions after the 98 blast. Katsa, when you were acquiring the S-400, the threat. We didn't know what to do. Tariffs now. Is it new that sanctions come? Sanctions, but they've come. We've gone through natural disasters, glacial outbursts, cyclones, super cyclones, tsunamis, earthquakes, Latur earthquake. Who's forgotten? The Gujarat earthquake. Have you forgotten that? The destruction of a huge variety. Andhra super cyclone, Odisha super cyclones. The entire east coast of India has been battered by cyclones and tsunamis. The Himalayan region by mudslides, glacial outbursts. Look what's happening today in Uttarakhand and in Himachal and even J&K. Forget what it's attributed to, whether it's climate change or not, but it is happening. None of this has happened in other places. They've not had to battle nature the way we've battled. And have come out. When people say, why is your infrastructure not ready? Not great like China. China is going through it incidentally. That I'll do in a separate episode. Every time we built, nature has been against us. We fought it. We fought it. Natural disasters. That's the one. And barriers, internal barriers. Yet, despite all this, we are the fourth largest economy. Yet, despite all this, we are growing at an unprecedented rate. You think China and USA will stop us? We are probably the only country which has overcome all odds and gone ahead. That realization people don't seem to have when they yap. In this process, India, when I see the India when I was in school, college, in NDA, and in service in the early part to now, I see a great unity. There's a cultural unity, or music, or dance, or arts. They're melded. Once upon a time, the art and culture and music scene in South could not connect itself with in the North. Today, it's seamless. We are proud of the way things are happening. Dress. I still remember in the South, people would not wear a salwar kameez or a kurta pajama, especially ladies. You go out anywhere in Chennai, not even Chennai, go anywhere deep down south. You will not find many ladies wearing saris too. That is unity. I could never think of anyone accepting Hindi in these parts. People do. When I went to a Kendriya Vidyalaya in Chennai, they used to call it a Hindi school. Today, Kendriya Vidyalayas in Chennai are the most sought after institutions for study. How do you explain Haryana having Telugu as their second language or one of their main languages after English and Hindi? A lot of things have culinary habits. You go anywhere in the north, you will get a dosa or a idli. I remember way back, wow, when was this? 98, 99, right? Not even that, 92. Going to the northeast, getting off at a place called Misamari. I don't know how many of you know that. I've been there. Misamari, the only within 40 kilometers of Misamari, there was only one place you could go and eat. And that place was a place in Misamari railway station, a dosa stall. That is the penetration. And from Misamari to Sela, the only food you could get was a dosa. How many people you know that? That's it. Everyone used to eat dosas when we used to go up at 3 different points. In a place like Tamil Nadu, no one knew what a tandoor was. Today you get tandoori. You go to Haldirams in Delhi, you will get 10 types of dosa. You get paneer dosa. We have united. Something which people don't understand. The politicians play for votes, but we as people should understand that we stand united. Okay. There's a lot of internal mobility in this country. People have come out. People go. Once upon a time, Northeast was, no one knew Northeast. But today you go to Northeast, you find people from all over. And yet the potential is not enough. You see people from Northeast today, everywhere. You see the airline industry, you see services. They're just taking over the services, the Northeast people. It's such a great thing. There's acceptance. I meet a lot of people from the Northeast here, and sometimes I speak to them in their language and they speak to me in Tamil. That's the change which is happening, and we need to understand. It unites people. There's reduction in strife. The last mile progress of infrastructure and connectivity is outpacing itself. I mean, you have to actually go out into the countryside to see this change. Those who are sitting in USA or anywhere outside, don't go by what is reported in newspapers. You have to travel to understand this. You have to travel into the countryside. You have to travel to various cities and understand. You have to go to tier 2, tier 3 cities to understand what's happening. How infrastructure is coming and how it is getting crowded out and new infrastructure is coming. Well, is it enough? No, it is not. I said we might not have the mass, but you have the velocity. There's an aspiration in the poor. The poor want. We have a lot of poor people in India. We are not rich, definitely, but they are aspirational. There's digital empowerment which you have never seen in your whole life. Yesterday, Mr. Sri Iyer and I were having lunch after our recording, and we had to pay. I didn't carry cash. Naturally, I don't carry cash these days at all. It's all on the mobile. So in that restaurant, I said, I hope I can pay. And that guy there, I found to my this thing. Can you imagine a person who was serving me was a Bihari in Tamil Nadu? I was speaking to him in Tamil. He was speaking to me in Hindi. I mean in Tamil. And then I realized this chap is not from the local place. So I spoke to him, where are you from? Bihar. So I started speaking to him Bihari type of Hindi. And he responded. Then I told him I don't have money. I only have this. He says, sir, today everyone has money. Has this. He says, don't worry. If you can't pay, you pay me, I'll pay them. Digital empowerment is happening. People trust you globally. We have education. We have acceptability. You can't be stopped. The people of India can't be stopped. Forget about Trump and this Xi Jinping and all these idiots. Do you know that we have the world's biggest diaspora? That's the most interesting part. When yesterday I was saying, what should I speak to all of you? This is it. Just think of this chart, it's a very interesting chart. And this is by Statista, so it has to be correct. In 2000, 25 years back, Russia had the world's biggest diaspora. You were at number 3. 20 years later, you are at the highest. China has remained static. Velocity. Please understand, velocity. You are acquiring mass and velocity. It's not as if your mass is stagnant. Your mass is increasing. You have the mass of 1.4 billion. You have the mass of rate of growth, which is its own mass. You have velocity, you have momentum, you have the force. The force is within us. And it is being tapped in myriad ways which we don't understand. We have to just look around. And we have the largest Indian diaspora. That's the interesting part. Look at this. Anywhere. And where we are maximum in USA, UAE, nothing in China. No one goes to China. And you think that's a superpower? Can you imagine a place which no one goes to? And you'll say, sir, no one comes to India. Yeah, I was reading a nice story today morning about an Irish man and an American who've been in India for 20 years. So every year they go with their children to Ireland and USA and come back. And their children, when they come back to Chennai, they say, look, it's good to be home. Things are changing. Because we don't offer what they or other countries offer. We offer something far different. Yeah, we have our back. We have huge problems. That doesn't mean, uh, we're at the pinnacle of everything. We have huge problems. We'll talk of it. I'm not going to shy away from our deficiencies. Look at the inbound remittances. What it was, inbound remittances for the past 7-10 years, highest in India. You look at China, inbound remittance. This tells you a story. This tells you a story how acceptable you are, how trusted you are, how our people are performing, how educated they are, everything. And I'm one person who doesn't people say, oh, diaspora, people are running away, you will get educated here, go contribute there. Go contribute wherever you are, contribute to the world. When you contribute to the world, you're winning for India. You'll come back. In some form or other, India will become richer. I have no doubt about it. And you see the rate of, look at, we compare ourselves with China. Look at China. They had an inbound remittance in 2015 of $33.1 billion. It's gone down to 26. Yours has gone from 68 to 111. What a drop. And this is going to drop. This is going to continue to drop. This is a China which is getting isolated from the world, one way or the other. Isolated power. That is why they are coming to seek you. You don't know the hidden power of our own structures. Why do you think Wang Yi and Xi Jinping are running? Why do you think Trump is sending his most trusted character here? They know they've messed it up. Why do you think Nikki Haley is writing an article to say India is the most valuable, prized possession of USA? After all, she fought Trump for presidency. I've replied to her in Twitter. Have a look at it. We have to understand the depth we have. Our civilization is in this, in what I've spoken so far. Look at this. I keep telling everyone, I keep showing this picture to everyone. This is a picture or a cartoon, call it whatever, illustration by a Chinese guy of 3 years back. I keep showing this. I've changed, Biden's face with Trump's face in this. And I'll change it to the next guy. Keep changing the faces. But we are already there. We don't recognize it. Others don't recognize it because it doesn't suit them to recognize us. And we don't have to prove ourselves. We don't have to go and say, I'm a superpower. Let me tell you something. This is my own personal experience. 2008. I was in the National Defense College course, a class on transborder migration, humanitarian affairs, and things like that. A lot of talk at that time. There was one lady, a Portuguese lady, who was from a UN agency who was looking after all these affairs, who was speaking to us. And the discussion veered to the fact that, look, for some reason it came to that. Is India a superpower? When will India become a superpower in the place of other superpowers? And she surprised me. She said, look, all of you are Indian Army officers. I mean, officers of the Indian Armed Forces and Government of India. I must tell you, I consider India as already a superpower. She says it's not a matter of whether it's a matter of your economy or your hard things or all that. She says India accepts people. She says in the process of migration and refugees and all that, what India has done, I have seen no other country do. All these countries only accept migration when it is to their benefit. It is only India which gives. And that is why India is loved. Not my words. And it set me thinking from that day, what are we? Why do we give Afghans? Why is Afghanistan, which had Taliban, which was against us, all that? Afghanistan was a place where I lost one of my best friends, Brigadier Ravi Mehta. He was our DA. One day there's a bomb blast. He and another diplomat were just blown away. I'm still in touch with his son. His son is an Air Force officer, a fighter pilot. He grew up in my arms. What happened in Afghanistan? At that time, we were dealing with an Afghanistan dominated by Pakistan. It's changed. You want to deal with Pakistan? I always said, deal it with Afghanistan. They'll sort them out. And why do Afghans like us? Because their cricket team is here in Faridabad. You see the upcoming Asia Cup. What does the Afghan says? We have to play 2 matches with Pakistan. We'll defeat them both times. Well, you don't have to play with Pakistan to defeat them. Help Afghanistan. We have helped Afghanistan. That's just your second team to defeat Pakistan. Just translate this. Just translate this into something else. We don't have to fight with Pakistan. That's the difference. Oh, look, you're the all this we know, fastest growing economy, proven military ability. Sindoor. Why are people behaving the way they are after Sindoor? Because they suddenly realize you can't be stopped. You forget about all this nonsense. The hype which is going on. Info war, Pakistan says we have defeated you. Now people are realizing what has happened in Sindoor. Why do you think America... Now it is coming out very clearly. Noor Khan base, American people have been hit and killed. Whether you call them American private military contractors or this or that, or they've been hit and killed. Period. This is the quadrilateral I've always spoken of. Yeah, this quadrilateral. USA will always be the dominant power, but it's in Trumpian turmoil. Russia is a weak power. China is the aspiring power, but it's in decline. I maintain it. There's no doubt it is going to lose people. And a nation which loses its people is not a power. And I'll talk of this a little later. Today there's more news about robots being made in China than babies. Understand this. There's an economic stagnancy. There's a political and military decline. They have the mass. They don't have the velocity. The momentum is not there. Stagnation. Only India, which is a growing power, which is emerging from its own reticence. We were a reticent power earlier. We are emerging. I've shown this attraction between US and India. Trump has diluted it. But will it restitute? To be seen. But we have relations which we cannot escape out of. We have to understand that. That is important to understand that India-US relations are beyond Trump today. And I've been thinking of it. Some people say, "Oh, you're a pro-USA general." I'm not a pro-USA general. I'm a pro-India general. But India, over the past 25 years, has developed deep relations with USA, and those are contractual obligations. They are treaties virtually in their own form. You have, whether you like it or not, you are in a treaty situation with USA. So you have to behave accordingly. You can't behave like a emotional fool like Trump. There's nothing transactional between India and US relations beyond a point. And you'll see this will change, and it will change very fast. But that's a different story. Let's look at this story in a different manner. Can US or Russia balance China? Sorry, can't. Right? I mean, one shouldn't have doubts about this. Right? Can Russia and China balance USA? No, they're not able to. There's no balance with this triangle. This triangle is daily changing shape. And Russia actually wants to get closer to USA in some manner, but it can't. They want to be considered a European power. The China-India equations will remain strained, whatever rapprochement will happen between Xi Jinping and Modi. It is beyond them. Because it is the people of India and the people of China have no connect. We will not allow them to get closer. And I'll talk of it this a little later. Because it's going to come up and this will be a discussion next week. I will talk of it. Can US afford to take on China-Russia partnership without India? Yeah, Trump is discovering he can't. He doesn't have any capability to handle Putin beyond a point. Putin is running circles around him. In all this, everyone wants India. Russia says Russia, India, China. China says India, China, great partnership. Till yesterday, why yesterday? Even today, a lot of people in US are saying India US partnership is the greatest in the century, except Trump. And I'm getting some input to say that this fellow sent his guy to course correct India-US relationship. You're on a pig's back. Everyone wants you. How you play your cards is you actually freed yourself from many of these bandhans we had earlier. You must thank Trump for it. We've been learning from our own wars, and we are now a battle-hardened nation. Look at these wars we've gone through and conflicts we've gone through. Does war worry us? Whether it was 47, 65, 71, Kargil, Sindoor, anti-terror operations, proxy war, 62, that's with China. This one, 67, 84, Sundrangchu incident, Doklam, Eastern Ladakh 2020, 2022, Yangtze. We've had all these conflicts and wars in some form. I have not put Balakot in this or the Uri surgical strikes. We've learnt and evolved to be a tough fighting nation. We have centuries of warfare with us, going back to Ashoka and Cholas and Mauryas and Chandra, it's there. Except 62. Just think critically. Except 62. Have we lost one war or conflict? No. We are learning from others' wars. What do US say? Russia, Israel, versus Taliban, Ukraine, Hamas, all this we are learning. What are you learning? The stronger forces have always struggled against seemingly weaker ones. Why? The difference is the man behind the machine. The Indian man behind the machine will win the day for us. I've always maintained it. It's not me as a general who will win the war for India. It is the Natta Singh and Venugopal Swami who's sitting with a machine gun in a trench. He'll win the war for us. He will fight. He will fight to ensure the territorial integrity and sovereignty of the nation. He's never let us down. Then the question comes, are the armed forces of India modern enough to defend India? Yes, they are. We've got the most experienced armed forces. Besides this, space tech, we are up there. Nuclear technology, we are up there. Missile program, we are independent. Yesterday, we put that integrated air defense system. Shipbuilding, you can do. Gun technology, you are independent. Aircraft technology, you are independent. I wouldn't say independent, but you need engines. But rest everything you can, and something is happening about that. Communications, you've gone far ahead. It's not you don't lack technology. You don't have technologies. You have a hell of a lot of technology. We need certain technologies. I agree. And time to get it. And I think the government is on the way to get it. We'll get it because we got the momentum. If my prime minister tells me from the Red Fort that I want to get an engine, I want to get drones, I want to make Sudarshan Chakra, the force is with us. We have to be honest. Are the armed forces modern enough for a regional power, which is destined to be the third largest economy? Not yet. We have a long way to go. Like what Robert Brown said, the woods are dark and lovely and deep, and we have a long way before I sleep. That's something to that. I'm not a poet. You need to do balanced modernization. You need to have balanced modernization, capability enhancement, which will take you to that status of a regional power. I'm still not saying we are a superpower, regional power. Let's be balanced in our outlook and vision and where we want to go. Simultaneously, we should not lose time-tested capabilities. That will result in degradation. What is this modernization and capacity building all about? It's about adequate funding, the ability to spend, and what to spend on. You need to have the structure. Just not putting money in. You have to think through this. What is the structural modernization I'm talking of? You need to modernize the MOD, which is this. And let me be very honest, we are not. Theater commands. Your outlook has to be modernized. Are we there? No. In fact, in my own way of thinking, we stumbled somewhere on this, even during Opsindur. And one of these days, I'll talk of it. What about technology infusion? We're running after technology, but the best technology is one which wins you the war. Not the latest technology. If that's what Opsindur proved, the technology which we had won the war for us, hence it's the best technology. Improve on it. You need military diplomacy. Normal diplomacy is gone. If you are a big power, you need military diplomacy. Major militaries, they need a huge quotient of military diplomacy. You need equipment modernization in absolutely great quantity. You need strategic communication, which we've been speaking of. You can't lose existing capacities. You need to re-look at this Agniveer scheme. Why I'm looking at Agniveer scheme again and again? The man behind the machine has to be good. Our politico-military equation has to be great. The connect between politicians, bureaucrats, military has to be good. Otherwise, what the Prime Minister has spoken from the ramparts of the Red Fort won't be achieved. And this, we have a problem with our multi-front external and internal asymmetric challenges. We have this. Why am I putting this? Because this is something which General Kandare and I spoke of in a big program. Today morning, just before I spoke, I've released this again. I did this a month back. I put it out again. I put the link also in this video. Have a look at it. I'm not going to spend time as to how do we overcome that. I've left it to Vinod Kandare to speak all that. And he's spoken beautifully. You want to know how to handle that, look at it. He's going to talk completely differently from what I've spoken. I do hope all of you have liked this. If you like it, press the like button. Subscribe to Gunner Shot and join Gunner Shot as a member. Again, have a look at my backdrop. This is what I feel I'm part of. I'm proud to be part of. I have the Sengol here. I have my Ashoka pillar. I have my national flag. And I have my inspiration. This is the background against which I live and I think. Right? I'm proud of being an Indian. Are you one? Are you proud? If you're not an Indian, are you proud of your nation and what you are and what your nation represents? And would you like to represent your own nation with pride? The pride which I have in my nation. I do hope you have that kind of pride for your own nation. And if you're from other nation, would you like to be a friend of the Indians? And if you're from Pakistan, well, all the best. Before you become a friend of the Indian, be a friend to yourself. Because the best Pakistani is one today who's destroying himself. And if you're a Chinese, all I can tell you is you're a disappearing race. You and your communist friends and your communist setup have ensured that the Chinese culture, civilization is disappearing. Stop yourself from doing that. All the best.